Fairport Industrial Development Agency to order and ask if there's any public comment. Seeing no one, hearing no one, I'll close public comment and we'll move on to approval of the IDA meeting minutes from June 16th.
Happy to move approval.
A second.
Is there any discussion or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. I wasn't here. I don't know that. I don't think we need to abstain
No.
anymore, right?
I was going to say, you don't need to abstain if you're absent.
You should be shown as excused.
Oh, right.
Go in the minutes.
Right there. So approved as of Monday.
Correct.
Okay, anything else on minutes? Move to financials, starting with resolution 2025-07, authorizing the payment of the IDA bills.
I reviewed the bills and I would recommend.
I'll second that.
Any questions on those bills? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving into cash and investments, we have June P&L, balance sheets, IDA. Any questions or comments on any of those reports? Okay, move on to the Tompkins investment report. Things. In reading this report, this period, we're showing a change of value of $44,939. The year to date is $1,350 because it's a different starting point. Correct? Is this year to year?
Doesn't our calendar year go September?
This is market as of June 30th. It's just funny, the bottom line is identical.
Right.
Starting market value was different. Income is different. Everything is different in there, but it's still, I didn't check the math, but it's
Fees are.
just
It's just weird how you ended up in the exact same. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's put a number in the realized gain column.
So I can inquire with Megan about specifically what is this difference. The market value on June 30th and year to date is the same, maybe because the period and the
Imagine the numbers add up.
like this is 1 month and this is where it is on June 30th, even though they're essentially the same day. I know that didn't make a lot of sense, but if we just looked at it at the end, at June 30th, that's the period. But also year to date is June 30th. So those numbers are going to be the same, but the fluctuation might be different over the course of the year. Like we had more gains in the beginning of the year, as Megan mentioned, and then if we saw some losses just in that period, then it would have offset the total change in value to only be negative $1,350, even though most of that was shown in this 1 month period.
Right, like if there's more gains to offset that 4,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I'll verify that with Megan.
Okay. else on financials from anyone?
I'll just also note that this is the end of a quarter, so you have a balance sheet and a P&L, and so I know we're going to talk about budget later, but
Moving to old business, the DRI status update.
yeah, so the last time we met, we talked about the intention to partner with the village to submit a DRI application, and we were interviewing consultants to help us with that application. We went through a process and selected MRB to help us with that application. They have a wealth of experience and a successful track record, and they're intimately knowledgeable of our own strategic plan and the village comprehensive plan. So it just makes sense overall. And from a cost perspective, they were on par competitive with other bidders. So we've had a kickoff meeting with MRB to review the timeline for the process, and our intention is to have a joint board meeting for this board and the village board if we can coordinate schedules, and if we can't, we'll have single standalone board meetings. But Brian White and I are working on coordinating that now, and then we will officially kick off the process from there. The village did officially receive the designation of pro-housing community, so we've cleared the first hurdle to be eligible to receive that award, the DRI award, but also many of the other awards under the CFA consolidated funding application are now requiring that pro-housing certification. So it has set us up to be able to move a little more nimbly on those things for the next season of grant funding and opportunities. So that is where we're at currently. That's just a brief update, but I wanted to share that to let you know we continue to move down.
And they are contracted with the village of Fairport.
They are contracted with the village of Fairport. That's correct.
They
Yes.
being MRB?
MRB. Yes.
No, they are not our contract.
Yes.
So,
Are we paying for it?
We're splitting the cost. Yes.
And what is the due date?
They haven't officially even opened the round, but usually they
okay.
do in August, and there's a due date in early October. So once they open the round, sometime in September, we will have to, the village will have to submit a letter of intent to apply.
Okay.
And that signals our intent to engage in the process. But because it is such a short time period from the time they open it up to the time we submit the application, it's prudent to be doing the things that we're doing now and engaging in things like public engagement when we have such a robust festival season and opportunities like the farmers market to get the word out there, do as much public engagement as possible, get feedback from, you know, what are those public ideas and desires, and make sure that we're actively communicating the intentions so folks are have all the opportunities to learn and be engaged in the process.
And does the call for proposal, does it change year to year? Like, do they put in different focus areas, or is it generally the same?
It is, I'm not a whole expert on the details from year to year, but it is generally the same, but they might sometimes tweak the nuances based on how prior rounds have gone. Like they have at a point decided to limit how many pages and how much supplemental material you can provide. Now that they've introduced requirements like the pro-housing community requirement, it may not, who can predict what will be in the application, but I think they will be looking for more of that mix of mixed use, residential, and you know, transformative development that can help support those housing goals from the state.
because I'm just, okay, great. I'm asking the question in anticipation of the joint board meeting so that we're, to understand like the degree that we're gonna be planning based on a real expectation based on past, what we know from the past application
Yeah.
requirements versus how much we think might change or not.
Yeah.
You know, so.
The basic application, I think, doesn't change that much from year to year. And I'll share by email with this group. You can look at past applications and see how those may have evolved from the early submissions to, you know, what are those ones. And you can see which ones have won and which ones haven't won.
In the completed applications?
In the completed applications, yeah. But I think it's another benefit of working with an organization like MRB because they have so much experience that they can guide us through what is that standard structure, and then we can tweak the details as the final application comes out, which should be soon. It usually comes out in August, so we're almost there.
Is it Matt Brown or Matt Brown? Wrong
It's Matt Horn.
Matt Horn.
Yes.
I got Matt Brown in the brain. Okay.
Do we still need to coordinate dates, or did we land on the 5th of August for that?
I think we're looking at the 6th of August was the last date that
That's right.
that we threw around.
Tuesday
time
and
again?
Wednesday?
4:30, 5 o'clock. That's the time that we've shared with the village board. I know, Donna, you said you might be remote. And we always can do
Can you repeat that?
separate meeting. Wednesday, August 6th
Thank you.
at 4:30 or 5 p.m. We're trying to nail that down now.
That's from this board.
From
Brian.
this board, but Brian also has shared that date with his
Oh.
board now and has most coordinated. I think we have another person who said they might be remote, so can we do a Zoom or something like that?
Oh, there'll be an option to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with Brian Stratton from the Canal Corporation, and he was very pleased and excited to hear that we were applying for the DRI, and he is anxious to get us a glowing letter of support. So,
Great.
you know, so that will be helpful to an application as a canal town.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Okay, anything else on DRI from anyone? All right, let's go to new business, and we'll start with the Finance Committee report. It's budget season, and the Finance Committee met. And so, Donna, if you want to, Donna and Leslie, however it gets on.
Yeah, Donna, thanks for putting these minutes together. I think this is a fair representation. I do take notes to get the highlights, but I apparently brought the wrong notebook, so. Thank goodness I have the minutes. So for IDA, I think it's well represented in here. We've got the increase in direct marketing expenses because of the growing focus on brand reach and engagement. And then we've got 20,000 in there for the professional services for the DRI project. I assume that's our contribution to the price tag of the village, or that's.
This is for our own potential project. So if we're going to do a project at the North Main parking lot, for example, and we might need a consulting or engineering study. So that's for our specific projects.
Right.
The contract with the village will be paid out of this year's professional services budgeted line item. And that total from the OCED contribution is $5,000 for that.
For this year.
Which was
For
surprising
this year.
to a lot of people. I know you were expecting a higher than that, I would have agreed with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything else looked in line. It looks good. Yeah. Lots of questions?
No, it's a good recap there.
Yeah.
So that was good. So making a motion to that
Motion
effect.
to approve, yeah, the IDA fiscal year 26 budget.
Happy to second it.
Any further discussion on the budget? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any other new business, Jana?
No.
Any other business from the board for IDA? Okay, motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are now going to go to LDC. Jana?
Yes.
Okay, I will call the July 28th, 2025 meeting of the Fairport Local Development Corporation to order. Ask if there's any public comment.
Hi,
Hi.
I have a public comment. It's actually not a public comment. I just want to share with this, for the record, Julie Domeratz, Village of Fairport, 70 Willie's Avenue. I just wanted to share that from a Village of Fairport perspective, I'm meeting together with our assembly member's office, along with someone from the New York State DOT, to try and see if we can improve communications about what's happening on our main street. While we have some ideas about what's going on, we have not, unless something happened in my email today that I'm not aware of yet, we have not been given any updates to share with the public with how long that project is taking and further implications to our business community. And I thought this would be a good place to share that I'm trying to work on that communication issue and see if we can improve the outgoing communication so our business community, our village staff, and residents of the community can have a better idea of how long the New York State DOT project is going to take. That's great.
So as of now, officially, no communication of a delayed date, but everybody can see that the bridge is not going to be done probably by July 30th.
Right. While they met last week and there are some internal updates, we're waiting for the state to give us a okay version to push out to everybody. And I know it's incredibly frustrating to our merchants, to residents, and everybody involved when you just get, okay, the project started April 14th, it's expected to go 120 days, and that's the only communication. So I hear it from people, and I'm certain that you all hear it from people or businesses and the like, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm trying to work on getting some better communication out to the community.
In your conversations, is there any opportunity to improve the walkway on the next to Tony's there so that it's at least a little wider? I mean, festival season is not over.
I understand that. I will make sure
that would be a welcome sign that they're listening.
I'll do my best to make sure that gets included in the conversation. There's a couple of topics, but certainly it's very challenging for anything that's happening up and down Main Street. It's challenging for those businesses that are directly impacted by the construction. And
anyone with a stroller.
I've ridden my bike and it's like, okay, let me get off my bike and slide against the wall so that people can walk by. I get it.
From the OCED perspective, I have heard from the frustration of the businesses, so I appreciate you providing that update. One thing that I get asked a lot is about, are there opportunities for support for businesses? In our office, you wouldn't be surprised that people ask, like, do you have grants? And our grants programs don't, fit this particular need. Sure. Nor would we have the resource to support all the businesses probably that would need that, right? Because it's more than when you hear from one business, you hear from others that say, but I would like that too. And so I do the best I can to point them to other resources that may exist. But in your conversations with DOT in particular, do they provide any resources or have any recommendations or anything? like that because they go into communities all the time and deal with this kind of disruption. So maybe they have some other ideas or direction for our merchants.
I'll take that
Thank
back.
you.
All I can say is thank God that we're not Rockport.
And as a resident, I appreciate your efforts in doing this because it's very frustrating to me as a resident and as a construction person who can just not figure out what is going on and why the heck that this thing, whether it's design, execution, both, it's just, there's something wrong there.
Well, we have these really tall, cool, craney things that make it look impressive from a distance.
Right.
But on the other side of that, as a resident, I'm complimentary of the streetscape program. I think that they're doing a great job. It's very disruptive, but the teams that are working on that have been so accommodating, and
Thank you.
so I think they're doing a great job.
I'll take that back.
And it makes the other one look that much worse.
Well, yeah, we were driving up, on B, and looks like our stuff is all done on both sides of the street except for the trees. One of the trees that must be planted, which of course will mess it up again.
Well, the trees can't really be done until the October timeframe.
Okay.
That's planting
Planting
season is
Right,
September.
that's right
October.
out now.
If they put them in right now, they'll die.
But, they're not gonna rip sidewalk up
No,
or anything.
No, it's
to-
that Grady thing.
Yeah.
The Grady-
So they're-
Yeah, the grate will
It
come
won't be
out.
that disruptive.
Okay, good.
Shouldn't
I-
be.
No,
Because we felt really smart on the north side, 'cause we were first. We're never first.
Well, you got the sidewalks.
the sidewalks are beautiful.
They are.
And I really
Mhm.
think that, from what I can see from my little bit of going up and down at the north end of the village, I love the new, streetlights with all the opportunities and the fact that, the village, so Brian and Jason made sure that they got more plants and put more plants up
The
there.
planters are looking great.
Yeah, so, the village staff is they're putting in all the efforts they can to make sure that our community looks, even though we're kind of torn up right now, but that, until we can get that final makeover, that we're trying to keep things looking as good as possible.
It's funny because it seems like you can't go in any direction out of Fairport without hitting more construction.
Yeah, I was surprised. I've been gone for a while, and I was surprised that the sidewalks in front of the library were torn up today, so had to cross the street.
Oh my
It was
God.
inconvenient.
But the people who are working for Millennial, when I was trying to figure out how to get from the south side of the sidewalk in front of High Street, that building, at the corner of High Street and Main Street, they were like, okay, you
Oh,
can't go
please.
over, cross the street right here and then come back over. So, thank you.
All right. Any other public comment? I'll close public comment and move to approval of the June 16th meeting minutes
So moved.
I'll second.
as corrected.
As corrected or amended. We've done it.
Excused.
Yep.
With Donna being excused. Okay, is there a motion you guys did motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving into financial reporting, starting with resolution 2025-7, authorizing payment of the LDC bills.
I've reviewed the bills and I move to authorize the payment. Second.
Any questions regarding those bills? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, as Donna mentioned, it's quarter end, so just the cash balances, we also have quarterlies on the P&L and the balance sheet for LDC. Any questions regarding that?
In the cash investments down at the bottom, it says L&B savings plus CDs over limit. We always creep over that. How far over are we in? Are we in trouble? Do we have to do something different?
It's a small amount. It's maybe like that under $1,000 or in the range of that, and it represents a the interest from a CD that stayed and did not roll over, so we could move it out there. But that is the reason for that overage.
Anything else on those financials? All right, loan status report. That appears to be everyone current.
Oh, current, yes.
And next, going to facade improvement grants. Jonna, have you gotten any calls for people looking for these grants that you referred them to, a new program that's going to be rolling out, or is you just haven't had any activity, people looking into it?
For facade?
Yeah.
We haven't had any new activity since Lombardi's, but we did do a press release to announce the reopening of the sign and facade grant since we had closed it.
The original program. Yeah.
Right. So we haven't had any new inquiries since then, but we did work to promote the reopening of it.
Do we have any opportunity to put it in like the merchants newsletter or the partnership newsletter or something like that, so that it's hitting businesses directly?
Definitely, we can work with them on that.
Some of these are, I was just looking at the list, and DeLand on Main, that was from September of 23, and it was supposed to be expire at the end of June. Where does she stand with getting all that finalized and paperwork in?
I don't have an update on her project, but I think we did extend her to allow her to complete.
And I think that Fairport Canal LLC, they're waiting on a CFO before they can get paid.
That's correct. And CASA, 24 North Main, CASA Innovative Construction, they have just finished their work and are going to be submitting that sometime this week, he said.
And Joel up at Turning Point?
He's completing his work also.
He just wrote a big update too.
Yeah.
Oh, did? Oh, okay.
I sent it to you just before this.
It's gonna look
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, so most of them are active. We'll track down DeLand on Main to get a status of that. And then Lombardi's is the most recent. So that'll be out there in a minute.
Staying with that theme, we can go into old business discussions and approval of the small business startup grant, which we looked at last month. It's been included here for us to revisit and share our thoughts and decide if this is what we would like to do. Anyone have any comments on it?
One question that came up last time was the duration of the program. That's in the details here, but it's 20 hours over 3 days. So that would be the commitment from the business owner.
For the startup,
Yes.
okay, or the business startup program, okay.
Yes.
For businesses that have opened in the last 12 months, to benefit from this, they need to go to the REOC program.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
all right.
Yeah, I had mentioned Donna, I'm curious as to, and I'm supportive of this,
Yes.
but I'm curious as to how many small business owners are going to, for the minimal reward that they're going to grant, that they're going to get is still a grant, and it should go well to a small business. But how many of them are going to say, I'm going to spend 3 days in Rockport, or because she said it may be a downtown facility. to go through that program. I think it's worthy. I think they should. I think it's going to be beneficial. But I'm curious to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
Do we pay for the program? Or they
The
do?
Merchants Association is
They
gonna
cover
pay
it.
for the program. That's their.
That's the $125.
Yes.
Right, okay. I was thinking about, who's opened last month, or last year, the Bonnie and Clyde came, the plant shop up on High Street, and then the little art store next to it in there, the Burger Shack behind. I'm sure there's others that aren't coming to head, but there's small one-person operations, so how do they swing 3 days away? But I'm not dismissing it, because I think it's an important thing, because the education is key.
We would love to see our
Yeah.
small businesses have some education.
I think we've been reluctant historically, right, to do this because of the risk associated with, non-capital improvements, the investment of these funds going into something that isn't necessarily as stable as something that would be more established. One thought is, and I don't want to overcomplicate it, but maybe there's tiers. Maybe we cap you at $2,000 if you're unable to complete that program, the training program. But if you're willing to invest the time, you can raise that ceiling of the grant by doing so. So we're helping the folks that are, the single operator that, asking them to take 3 days away from business is a non-starter. We're still offering some assistance to them, but we're offering a larger grant for the folks that are on board with, and maybe even welcoming the idea of some training around business concepts that they don't have yet.
If you have that eager entrepreneur person who wants to do what they can. Is that I think we've started talking about this in part because of your conversation with Alter Ego, right? Or not Alter Ego. What's the name of the thing?
That's the name of it. Alter Ego.
It is, right?
I agree.
Wondering would she have been able to do this?
Mhm.
So I that was my concern too, is I share the same curiosity of who will take part in it. I also support it. But I think I would support a conversation about a tiered approach as well, just to be able to, if you have that person who's just a one-man show, can we do anything for them to help them out to get going?
Yeah, I guess I would, it's just my non-voting opinion. The benefits that they're going to take from the program are greater than our $2,500 or whatever we're proposing. They're going to leave with a real business plan, a forecast, a knowledge of how to create a budget and a marketing plan, and things that I see a lot of the small startups, like a wellness store and a dream, show up, and they don't have any of those things. And I would be reluctant to propose this program if they're not going to have those things at the end. So
no, the benefit is great. I mean, just putting together a business plan, I guess probably could have AI do one for you, right? Plug in a few key things, and all of a sudden you have a business plan. But creating a business plan, having someone think through a business plan is incredibly important too. And then just maybe I don't know what this means. I could learn that if I go to my 3 days.
So they can
and then.
Oh, sorry. This is almost incentivizing them to take that sort of collateral for us. Is that class?
Yes, right. And I think we could work with the Merchants Association to find and the Small Business Center to create a schedule for a cohort that's going to work with hopefully the schedules for the business people who are participating.
And if they'd be willing to do it at the Fairport Library.
They said they will come here.
That's a great idea.
Like that at the library.
It's the concept of going to Brockport for 3 days.
They don't have to go to Brockport, certainly. They are based downtown, but they will come here. But they will come here if we have enough participants to support the program.
I mean, I think that, as a new business, for whatever the dollar amount we're offering, it's a small investment in their future. For us, if we're going to put money into a small business, you know, and God knows, you know, some of them surprise me. We ought to be able to invest in their smart, you know, invest in their business, but also their entrepreneurial skills,
So-
not just what they're selling. You know?
So they're successful for a year and they want to expand their business in some sort or another, and they want to come back to us for a loan. It's going to check a lot of boxes.
Sure.
You know, if they've gone through two training programs like this as well. So
Right.
it's kind of a resume builder for them.
And you know, it's 10 hours, you said, right?
20.
20 hours? Okay. That's not that crazy. That's a few days of work for $5,000 is.
And most of our businesses are not open late, sorry to say, sadly to say. I mean, if it was an evening class at the library from 6 to
Right.
8 twice a week or a month or something, I don't know.
The administration of it will be easier too if we don't tier it, if we just keep it cleaner.
I mean, I think that we're, you know,
If we
We're
need to
demonstrating
tweak
we
this
want that.
program, we'll always have the ability
Yeah.
to do it and see what's working on this.
Mhm.
we're investing in the person as well as the shop, the
Yeah.
business, you know.
Right. That's a great way to put it.
Have you spoken to the owner of Junction 360?
I have not spoken to him recently specifically about this.
Because he did this course.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Sean did?
Gabe,
Gabe is no
Gabe.
longer the owner.
no.
He sold his interest to Sean.
It would be interesting to get some feedback on somebody who's taking the course.
Yeah.
But I think I love it because I think the eligible uses of funds are really like essential for startups. Like,
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
it speaks to both the demand and the what they're going to get out of the course. So. Great.
Do we need to?
Yeah, just one other quick thought. I had this when I was reading through it. One potential gap that we have is like an alter ego bakery. I don't know that they qualify under this criteria, right? Because they're not a new business established in the last 12 months. They were a pre-existing business that moved into the village. So I guess it's worth thinking through who do we want to include as far as the assistance group? Because it might be a business that's older than 12 months, Exhibit A, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is still concerned about and having they would welcome assistance like this, but wouldn't qualify for it currently. And I think it's a business that we would want to try to assist because it is a new business as far as the village of Fairport is concerned.
So I think there's like almost like a grandfather law. I don't know if grandfathering is necessarily the opposite of grandfathering. I mean, what I've seen is that the business you're talking about has been very successful in the growth. Like I've been following her, and it's just amazing. Like I go in there and it's packed most times, and it used to be like that. We've had other businesses that have transferred from food truck operations.
Yeah.
One's been successful. Another example we had hasn't been successful. So
I think of the boutique gift shop, candle shop that was previously east of us and opened up here and wouldn't have qualified
yeah,
under the 12-month criteria.
but I wonder if that this incentive of this business program would have resulted in a better outcome. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to
There's a
extend
natural-
these 12 months to 18 months? Is that what we're saying?
To capture some of that, or to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that anyone could expect that it's smooth sailing for a small business. It's not
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
like 12 months, we've been here, now everything's great. So I could see where there are businesses maybe in their second or even third year that might be struggling. I don't know if like you've been in business for 3 years and you haven't done some of those things, if maybe that makes a prime candidate or not
Right.
for this
Yeah.
grant. But I can see your point that businesses can be still in startup mode beyond 12 months.
And I think it's a business that however they were operating previously, wherever it may be, if they're making the move to the village of Fairport, we want them to be successful here. It's in everybody's interest to be successful with that move. The incentive, my thought is the incentive should be applied to that business that's new to the village of Fairport, regardless if maybe they've been operating somewhere else for 5 years, but they're new to the village. And if they want to take advantage of this program with the educational components, et cetera, my thought is we would want to support that business as much as we would want to support someone that's just starting out and new in the village. This seems like it's written, and I like it. I'm not attacking the draft. I like it a lot, but I think we have a caveat there that we should support, which is regardless of where you've operated or how long you've operated previously, if you're new to the village, we want to wrap our arms around you and make sure that in 18 months' time that you're still rolling along and doing well. And welcome the party exchange. Are there others that think we should, if it's not a new business but new to the village, this isn't necessarily for them, and maybe it's something else that might be for them? Curious.
I think it's an interesting question because part of the goal of our office is to attract businesses to the village. And so this could be a tool to help us achieve that goal. But if that business is expanding, growing, they're thriving, and they're moving to Fairport, are they in the same place as the startup boutique that is like scraping every penny just to build a website? I don't know, and I'm not sure that we can answer all that in this grant, but I think it's it's the balance of wanting to be welcoming and, like you said, wrap your arms around any business that's coming here and help them and support them in their launch.
Or you can choose to make Fairport a home versus another.
Right, yes.
An incentive to come here over the village of Pittsburgh or something.
Yes.
But it also brings up the question then, do we need to define what a small business is?
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde, do they come to us? They're not what I would typically, or we're defining it as retail business. Is a service business still retail?
Yeah, a one-man accounting shop.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Should we be putting something in there to define what because we all know what we're thinking, but
so we may not be thinking the same
when
thing
we
anyway.
get what the criteria is might better be defined, and how big is small business? Is it just if it's privately owned, does that make it a small business?
Right. According to AI, it's in New York State, it's defined as anything smaller than 100 employees.
That's pretty big.
Yeah,
really.
right.
How many 100 employee
Micro,
places
like
do
we're
we have?
thinking micro or.
But it does say retail,
Right.
and I think that needs to be our focus. But does that include the food and beverage industry? Are they in there, or do we want it to? I don't know.
These little riddles.
Yeah.
I think, okay, so to that point, we are talking about partnering with the Merchants Association on this. And while we at OCED have a clear vision of this is the type of business we're trying to attract, I'm sure they would struggle saying you merchant, yes, but not you merchant member.
Yep.
And so another thing to keep in mind. And these are points I can take back to the Merchants Association and see if they have thoughts and opinions on how do they, if at all. And I don't know that they do distinguish between a services member, a retail member. I think they work to try to provide the same benefits to all members, even if they don't ultimately come out equal, right? Like a retail member is going to benefit more from a sip and shop event than a services insurance agency. But these are good questions.
How much were we going to set aside for this? Just thinking about the full pool that we would have it.
Sorry.
Because I like the amount proposed at a maximum of 5. Because because I think that's meaning, I think that's a meaningful number. I'm curious if it goes off like gangbusters, how many of these can we do?
Right.
Again, we could fund, you know, I mean, if it's successful and we're getting a lot of people going to school.
Yeah.
We have the ability to add to our pot.
Fund meaning we can get money from other, like, we have the money obviously in our expenses, but we can fund by getting money from elsewhere to add to our pot or add to this
No,
pot
from
our own resources. Okay, yeah, right.
So we did not take or create any separate dollars. We budgeted a total of $30,000 for the street and facade grant program.
Okay.
But the source of funds would be the same. So we would either add additional funds from somewhere in savings or somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think that's a good starting point.
Yes.
You know, again, curious to see how, you know, how many people are going to be willing to take advantage of this. So, so yeah, we can always add to.
Okay.
And I don't think we need to do any sort of, like, I'm worried about paralysis or analysis paralysis with this, right? Like, I think, I didn't think about restricting it from a food and beverage standpoint versus retail.
And quite honestly, is that our vision? You know, I mean, we have 26 liquor licenses in 1 square mile.
Right.
I love the message of welcoming small businesses, full stop. But appreciate the concern of who would we be saying yes to potentially? But like, I think even if it was a Bonnie, like,
Or B
in that situation, it's a new business.
The B side is new ownership.
Sure.
So,
Oh, new ownership, that's a good point. Does that qualify?
New ownership. You got lots of wrinkles here. So I wouldn't think
Well, I
that
think
would
new
qualify as
ownership would.
establishing business.
I would think new ownership would.
It would trigger it?
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah.
they're changing if they're changing their business model,
Okay.
which they are, you know, it's still going to be basically a food, drink, and music place. However, the business model has changed in what they're doing.
Well, the guy who bought Ricky's, he doesn't have any restaurant experience.
You could, yeah.
You know, I'm sure
Okay,
I'm sure those
well,
waitresses
yeah.
will tell him how it is.
I'll find
But anyway, so I guess I would like a little better definition in my mind.
Okay.
And if it comes by way of a recommendation from the Merchants Association, okay.
They may
Okay.
have definitions for retail, whatever their things are, too,
Yeah.
that they already have.
Okay. Thank you. We'll get that information. Revisit.
Good talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for all the work on this.
Yeah,
Donna.
that's what this is exciting. I think it's gonna be great.
All right, new business. We have had a meeting for the 25-26 budget year. Finance committee meeting. So Donna, if you want to go through that report.
Yep, same on the LDC, same increase in direct marketing expenses. Then we've got a holder of 15,000 for the DRI effort. And then I would just draw your attention to the notes about the significant loan balloon payment that's going to be coming to term, and how we've discussed managing that in advance.
Any questions or discussion on that? So I'm guessing it's the finance committee's recommendation.
The finance recommends moving approval of the FY26 LDC budget.
I'll make a quick comment. Just, I don't think we did this in the last one. Thank you for the time that you guys put in on this. I'm sure this wasn't a short meeting.
By the way, Ken
No.
Rohr was not able to make this meeting, but has expressed his continued interest in doing it. His finance background is valuable.
That's great.
Appreciate it. So,
Thank you.
Good job, it's first try. Really.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Maybe gave them COVID, but otherwise. It was worthwhile.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any other business for the LDC? Anyone? No. Okay, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. With that, I'll open the meeting, July 28, 2025 meeting of the Fairport Urban Renewal Agency, and call that to order. And ask if there is any public comment, which is missing from the agenda. Seeing, hearing no one, I'll close that. And move on to financial reporting, starting with resolution 2025-07, authorizing payment of the URA bills.
So I reviewed the bills and I make a motion for their payment.
Second that.
Any questions or discussion on any of those? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna back up. I did skip
Minutes?
I
Yeah.
skipped the minutes. So, we need approval of the June 16th URA meeting minutes.
Move approval.
As amended with Donna being excused.
Yes, please.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry about that. Okay, now back to resolution 2025-07, authorizing payment of section 8 bills.
I reviewed the bills and I make a motion to authorize their payment.
Is there a second on that?
I would second that.
And just to note that Pat Rapp's payments are the last of her engagement by May.
Okay.
Any other questions or? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we have cash balances in financials again for quarter end. So we have P&L and balance sheet included. For both URA and section 8. Any discussion or questions regarding any of that? Okay. Moving on to URA loan status report. Again, everything is current. Questions on the loans? All right. Front porch grant summary and applications.
So on this summary, we had a new front porch grant added that was approved in the last meeting, but we have 3 new applications today. They all 3 meet the criteria. I'm sorry, 2 new applications and 1 old application. So I potentially was expecting the owner at Silver Birch Drive to pop in, and he still may. We're moving a little faster than we usually do. But if you recall on that one,
You want to go to the other 2 first?
yeah, we can do that. I don't have the packet in front of me. Can you just give me the
27
addresses?
Briggs.
Yeah, so 27 Briggs and 47 Warner, I think, are
47 West Church.
West Church. Don't we have Warner too?
I don't.
No, okay.
We have no
sorry,
Warner.
sorry. So both pretty straightforward, no opening of a porch. They're doing some upgrades to the foundation and the structure, and replacing stairs and flooring, and both have not started their project, are within the village boundaries. The work is in line with the grant requirements, so we are recommending approval of those both.
One other thing while I'm thinking of it, and I'm not, you probably are doing it, but I'm not sure. One of the checklist items is current on village taxes.
Yes.
Fairport
Yes.
All
electric,
checked, verified.
all checked.
Yes.
And we have not been approved, right? These have
You
been
know,
for just for our
Oh, we
ability
debated
to
that
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
because we have denied some.
Yeah, I think the ones that were questionable, it was like 495.
That's right.
These two applications, are there questions about whether they?
There's not, no. So just from a process perspective, from my understanding, if there are no questions, do they need to come to the board, or does it just need to be shared? We received the applications, everything looks great, these have been approved.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the way that we have done that. To your judgment of saying, what do you guys think about this? This is a little out of our normal path that we follow for this stuff.
So sometimes it's easy to look at them and say denied because they don't meet the basic criteria. And one of the main ones of those, other than it's not actually in the village or the owner doesn't live in the village, is your project has already started. And so one of the ways we monitor that is to go drive by and see. And so that's one where we will automatically deny that. In a case like that where someone has an appeal, are those worthy of bringing back to the board?
If you think they can make a legitimate case, or
If it's an incentive to, before you start construction, and they started construction, I don't know, how do you appeal that? I mean.
You would be surprised at
Well, I'm
the
sure,
stories
right?
you might
Well, I
hear
remember the
about
lady-
why this is not, you can see the whole porch is
Yeah, the lady.
torn off
we-
in front of the house, and they said, well, this is just phase one, and I'm gonna start the
Right,
other
right,
part
right.
that's gonna do this part of the porch another time. So there certainly can be creative explanations for that, or we started the project, and then once we started doing this, we realized there was this other work to do.
Right.
if we denied and you think that the person can make a case, then.
Well, usually you wouldn't deny, because I
Well,
would
I'm
have
saying
denied
if
that
you
already,
denied,
yeah.
But then they made a really good case because you say it really does kind of, it doesn't, your judgment.
Okay.
So we did a lot of heavy lifting last year on a very basic question is, what is a front porch? Right? I mean, how many, we had a number of applications,
Stoop.
you know, a stoop versus a porch, a corner lot, and they have porches, they have two porches on street. What is the front porch? So we did that heavy lifting. That's all sorted out. And so that's defined now.
Okay.
So, but there will be things like that that come up. I do have a question on one of these.
Okay.
The Briggs Avenue one. Yeah. Did you see their contractor?
It's that.
Oh, yeah. Like brothers. The
Yeah,
brothers.
That was my question.
Oh, is that,
Their
is that
payments
their
up to
Warner?
That's
$1,000.
where you're getting
Warner,
that way.
yeah,
That's
sorry.
the contractor name / last
Yeah.
name of the.
The bulk of their application is for labor. And we have not usually supported. They were not, the homeowner's not allowed to charge for his labor.
Right.
You know, he can't include himself.
This was
in
a
his
tricky
proposal.
one, being that it was like contractor by trade.
Yeah.
It's not in kind.
I thought Leslie would have found it and Googled it. But
Yeah.
who they were.
Well, I'm wondering if he's having his company do it. and
Correct.
it's
His company
workers
is doing it.
If it's
Yes.
not, or
The way
Probably
he has
not, but-
presented
Yeah.
it is his company is doing it. It's his personal residence, and he is not the sole proprietor of the company. But
His
yes.
brother.
It's him.
His
His
brother's
name
doing
is
the work.
Yes.
Oh.
So.
And they're twins. You don't know which one's it.
That's his dog.
Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, how do you
Is that
done?
real?
No.
I like that little nugget at the end.
I think it's a fair point, but the overall estimate for the materials exceeds what the maximum grant would be, and they will spend that much on materials regardless.
So that's your recommendation.
That's my recommendation. We did, they did initially propose some other work that, to your point, was not part of the porch.
It's still gonna be an improvement. It still meets the
Yes.
goals
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
fund.
this was
the
his
project.
second go around at the
Yeah.
application, so
Oh,
we've given
good.
him some hoops to jump through.
Okay.
Okay,
So we can go on to Silver Birch.
yeah, Mr. Schegenberger has not arrived, and that's okay, but
Pounded us with paperwork.
in the, I mean, he did provide a lot of additional documentation, which is great, including the details I think we were really looking for when the original documents looked like the end result would be kind of a wooden
Shed
deck.
or-
But he provided additional documents, which in particular, you can see on page 42 and 43, if you scroll through your 76-page binder there, that show that he's putting vinyl wraps around those posts, so it will look like the structure of a 1960s porch, and some styles of the porches in the neighborhood are also included there. And then there's an email, I think at page 16, that says, yes, he's including the customer optional wraps. So I think the first time around, he didn't provide us enough information, and now he has provided plenty to demonstrate this will look like the other porches in his neighborhood. So my recommendation is approved.
It does sound like it looks like the other
Yeah.
ones.
Any more on front porches? All right. Now we can talk with Jennifer.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, Jen.
I missed last board meeting.
And we missed you too.
Yes, I'm sure you did. My son graduated.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's older
Charlie.
now. Right? Almost. Okay, so this month, June was a good month. I think, we didn't receive a lot of information about our funding. Recently, I just started looking at an email that the Senate has done something that is actually very positive for us. It looks like it's actually increased funding from last year from their side. So now we go back to the drawing board in the action item. So that was very positive to see today. It's actually an increase from last year. So I think both House and Senate do not want to have it go to the states, which is one of the biggest things that they're trying to do is get Section 8 to the state. So it will be in block grant form. It's really what they want, and what I believe the current administration would want. And I think that both sides are saying it's not at all going to happen. So that's a relief. We won't know too much more for another couple weeks, but maybe possibly by next board meeting we'll have a better understanding about what we're doing for next year. We're continuing to get our funding on time. I am still working on attrition. I want to get closer to 400, so that when we move forward with our PDBs, we have enough. I was contacted by Jen Higgins from Home Leasing about the Fulham's Landing property, which is the ESL property. It's right at the ESL. So they are definitely moving forward and wanting to confirm that they can submit. And it sounds like an exciting project. I'm very glad they're going to have, it's a family, low-income family. It's not just a senior project where there's 3 bedrooms there. It's going to be great. So they contacted me. We should be, starting to hear a little bit more about that once they continue on with their funding.
Do you know the size of that? How many units or how
All
many
the buildings
stories?
be. Okay, so what they did, so I asked Jen, I think the town was denying them the entire 4th floor, but it's actually some kind of calculation that you can't exceed a certain amount. So the middle of the building's higher in the middle because they had,
Penthouse.
Well, there's a number of feet they can't go up.
but they were able to do it in the middle of the building.
So it's still 3
It might be the
stories.
step
It's 3.5,
back-
I
step
guess,
back
or
height,
3
which
and then some.
is in our
Oh, and
zoning
then-
code update that we're talking
What?
about right now. When you get to that 4th floor,
Yeah.
that you set it back.
Yes.
Diane Prince building.
So that, and also the telephone building over on West Avenue. So you set back that upper floor so that it's not so
In your
visible
face.
from
Okay.
the street,
Ah.
from whether you're in a car
That's
or a
what they've done.
So
pedestrian.
it's not just a wall on the
A wall of
street
housing.
side.
Yeah, so what they do is they put a setback like 12 feet.
So it's 4, it is 4 stories,
It's
but
for the like that middle
Step back.
column.
Like a wedding cake.
I like that.
So, the number of units, why do I want to say
Doesn't matter.
50?
Yeah,
There's several different options. Anyway.
it's a great project.
I love it, can't wait. So we're moving forward with that. We're definitely gonna be maximizing our PUDs this year. Rose Hollow, we're kind of at a standstill. I've reached out to them. I've given them income documentation. I need them to help me start collecting information about the tenants. The owner has not responded. Although he's interested and I know he would like this, he's not gonna be, I'm going to have to really hold his hand and get this done. He has never responded. So, they have the information I need. I'll have to start bugging them. We had the best thing, actually last week, wait, when was my FIDA? That was where I was last month then. Not crazy. Nice FIDA, we had a scholarship winner, big deal, such a big
Oh,
deal.
you gave us all the.
Oh,
information on
it's so great. We were guests of honor, we got to go to the president's ball and everything there.
Oh, cool.
We were treated like royalty. It was amazing. I met the whole board. They just were so genuinely interested in this candidate. And she turned out to be someone I just adore. I just thought she was great. She's going to Morgan, and she received $12,798. I know.
Wow.
And I have to say, when I was speaking and congratulating her, I had to thank Linda because it's really Linda who did it. She sat next to me last year at Nice FIDA and or 2 years ago, and RHA had won. Their tenant was the winner that year. And Linda looked at me and said, "That's going to be us next year." And I said in my speech that I said that story because she really made it happen. So it changed this girl's life.
It's
She's
awesome.
going to Morgan
really
because
cool.
of it. It's just so, it really made me feel great. So that was really nice to have happen. So, I think that's about it.
Northfield Commons,
What? Is that anywhere in this?
no, that's why I mentioned it.
Maybe not here. Lots of stuff going on. I think we're live streaming, right? I don't need to talk about that today.
We have tenants there.
No, we do not.
No.
So we were approached by CDS Monarch to give them project-based vouchers for the building. They're doing a huge rehab.
Several months ago, in response to an RFP that we put out to say, we have project-based vouchers, CDS Monarch responded to say that they would like some for a conversion at
Okay.
Northfield. And so for a few months, Jennifer's been working on this conversion. And then things with the current operator, as people are aware, have kind of fallen apart. And CDS thought they would have a year, 18 months to do this conversion. And now they're working hard to make the conversion happen immediately, so as few residents lose services as possible. But our involvement remains those already committed prior to this scenario, project-based vouchers.
So they're trying to retain as many people as they can, which was not what was actually rumored to be true. From what I understand, there will be 2 individuals who are not able to at all function with any independent living and would not be able to live there. So the issue really is the services are going away. The nursing home services are going away. The building is still there, the tenants can be there, but if they can't live without nursing home services, then they have, right, so she was not able to express that to any of the tenants, and that's how this got really kind of heated and argued. So yes,
There's nobody else is stepping up to provide those services to the existing tenants that can do that?
Some services will be provided, the ones that are not, I don't know the right word, Jennifer, like more critical congregate. So like the food and some of the like basic day-to-day task things, they'll still be able to provide those through a third party. But if they need a higher level of support,
medical stuff that can't be handled. And from what I understand, it's really just 2 or 3 individuals who are having trouble. So she apparently was supposed to close on the building on the 22nd. And I haven't heard. So.
You gotta leave that open halfway for a little bit. That's good.
They've been trying to work with me for years. So
The CDS?
no, actually the owners of Northfield. They have current owners. There have been issues for years, and so they brought me in to see if I could convert it then. And it's congregate. I can't. That's an ineligible use of housing. You cannot fund a nursing home.
Okay.
So,
The CDS is expanding beyond their IDD population with the rest, with owning that building?
are they expanding more than they are?
No, I mean, they serve the IDD population. Does everybody who lives in the Northfield fall into that? Or, I mean,
They're looking for the appropriate service providers. So they'll be contracting that out, from my understanding. I don't think they're gonna do any of that. They have iCircle, but I don't know how much care they provide. It's my understanding they're still looking for an outside provider. It's potentially really a great project, it's a tough transition. And the way it happened is not pleasant.
Okay, that's as much as we need to know.
got it.
We have a commitment, and that is it. And that is contingent on HUD funding as well, so we will see. That's it.
Anything else for Jennifer, anyone?
No, but she'll stick around to review Section 8 budget.
Oh,
They have it in their packet.
There we go.
Okay.
any old business? Okay, let's go to the Finance Committee report for URA and Section 8.
So again, our notes, I think the thing that's different here than others is, we pay for our personnel through the URA. So personnel costs have increased, benefit costs are significantly increasing. So those drive the two main increases.
What's the biggest driver of the benefit?
The difference
Okay.
between a single woman and two women with families, single person, I guess gender doesn't matter, but, so it's not an increase in the benefit cost, it's an increase in
Okay,
the
so we're
type
not
of
seeing any
plan.
big jumps in the retirement system, or
No,
they're all within the
It was,
normal increase range? Okay.
it was higher.
Because the
this year
number's
than
big,
normal.
you know, so.
It was higher. Usually it's around 6 and 7% at the most. And this year it was 11.8 or something. I thought that was a little higher, but not terrible. Really not bad.
Like the in general cost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And budgeted against our expectations on the funding to be received. John, I noticed you mentioned in paragraph 5, the fraud collection. So I don't think it's fraud collected, it's the bad loan. The bad loan.
yeah,
Set aside.
sorry, that's
Reserve.
the,
What do we call it? Reserve bad loan?
bad debt,
Bad debt.
yeah,
Yeah.
risk reserve. I did, no, I'm sorry, that's wrong. I'm gonna defer that to Jennifer. We're
I-
talking about,
I have fraud collection.
oh, yeah,
That's me.
That is fraud, okay. So we didn't address the debt reserve.
yeah, that was, part of the discussion we had was the reserve and do we have to budget for that?
Right.
I talked to Christy Beach at our accounting firm and she said, we do not budget for it. We do a calculation for it that they factor in at audit, but unless we anticipated like a specific loan that we knew was going to default, and we wouldn't specifically budget for the item, but when they audit, they'll do a calculation to factor in what
Yeah, we
that
get the
the
list of
risk
all the
reserve.
loans and the risk
Yeah.
rating, and then apply 40%.
Yeah.
It was a formula that was.
So I do have that spreadsheet and it's completed. I have that ready for the auditors, but it wasn't something she said should be in the budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could we see it next month?
Definitely.
If you could just take an annual look at it. I think and I don't even know if it was the URA. I feel like it was the LDC.
Probably more loans in the LDC. But.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll take a look at it. So Jen, was there anything else on the budget that,
For me,
yeah,
just the salary is the only real big change.
so the fraud collection is really a fraud collection line? Right?
Yeah. Yep. The HUD calls it debt owed, but most we used to call it fraud collection. But it's a debt owed to us from a tenant who didn't do something.
So the reduction of that by 50% was the thought with that.
I think I was a little overzealous last year. I
Okay.
think I had 14,000.
Yeah.
I can collect that. I don't think we have $14,000 in debt from tenants.
Okay.
I budgeted for about what we have in the pipeline now for recapture.
So basically, if we recapture funding on a tenant that there's something fraudulent, use that term, we are allowed to keep a certain percentage of that. This is the amount.
There's two, I have the half recap recoups and the admin recoups. So if I recoup $10 from a tenant who owes me $10, I can keep that in my admin and use it for whatever I want for admin. The rest has to go into half and be used only for half. So that's how I don't get to keep this. So I get to keep 50% for admin because it takes a lot to collect that debt and figure it out and do all the research to actually figure out what they owe us. And then we can keep half those into our half pool for rents.
Anything else on those budgets?
So I make a motion to approve the draft budgets for FY 26.
I'll second that.
Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any other old or new business for urban renewal? We're going to be going into an executive session for personnel discussion, so Jennifer, Amy, Ed are all excused.
You don't
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
attendance.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you.